Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we're going to talk about why no social media is more important post-breakup. So we have no contact, no social media. It's a big thing because people divide them. I usually say they go hand in hand, but let's just separate them for right now. And if you had to pick one, I would say social media would be the one to go with. At this point in 2023, a lot of people use social media and they dedicate a lot of time to it. So it's more difficult to go no social media because really the minute you turn on that application, that Instagram, whatnot, you're going to look at their friends, you're going to look at their family members, and you're going to look at them. Even if you say, oh, I can't, I won't, people always come back to me. They write me emails. They ask, can we talk right away? Because they have some information that they got from a social media post or a friend sent them. Always. It's the number one thing. So I would say that no contact is absolutely important. It's easier to do. But social media, which is covert stalking for a lot of people and assumption based, is probably, actually I won't say probably, it is more crucial, more important post breakup or any kind of issue you have with anyone where you're just like, I'm done. And really in no contact, if you're not saying I'm done, you're not done yet. You're going to contact them and you're going to continue on going on and on. So really quick, I did write out 7 reasons that is the case. And number one is too many assumptions. So I'm going to talk about that a little deeper with an older video that I have that had 14,000 views over the last few years, and how I show you how that works. So you're always assuming something. Sometimes people call it stereotyping. Your mind is always making conclusions, hypothesizing about things. And with social media, it's at its highest level because it's picture-based and it's phrase-based, maybe 1 or 2 sentences. So someone will go, oh, this means this means that, and you have a snippet, right? So saying that, the assumptions really eat people up. And if someone's a negative individual or they feel like their ex is just so happy without them or never cares about them, it just adds gasoline to the fire. So number one, the reason why no social media is more important post-breakup, there's more assumptions made. Now, when you're in no contact, when you really think about it, you're in no contact, right? You're not really assuming a whole lot. You might assume like, oh, they don't care about me, so they haven't called me. Some of those things go on. But for some reason, the human mind is a lot more sensitive to pictures. Right, B? You're just more sensitive if you see a picture.
Yeah.
Or you see a message that was written by the individual. Mm-hmm. If your mind's just coming up with ideas, I believe that it's just not as fragile. Mm-hmm. Okay, number 2, if they are with someone else you don't want to know, let alone see pictures of them. So a lot of people go, I just want to see. Once you see, I haven't met anyone that goes, oh, I feel better now. Now, there might be a few people out there that are pretty pretentious or think they're a better catch, so they get off on the idea that they're with someone, they're better catch than their ex's new partner. Even then, deep down, it still hurts, right? So, and people go, I just want to see. Good luck with that. See how it feels. Number 3, you don't want to know how happy they are really. Do you? Because a lot of times with Instagram and these kinds of things, it's competitive happiness. A lot of people are exaggerating. They're showing a moment when they had an ice cream, when they were on the beach. It's a snippet. It's a pose.
With 10 filters layered on there.
10 filters. You know what I mean? So when you look on Instagram, you're really not getting, for most people. Now, there might be some people, oh, I'm real when I'm on Instagram. Okay, fine. Whatever. For the most part, post-breakup, individuals know that their partner, ex, whatever you want to call it, will probably look at their social media. And so what would they rather? Some people would probably have a pity parade and cry and do things, but some other people would rather be like, oh, I hope they see this. I mean, I had a client a while back. He basically staged a girl on the back of his motorcycle.
Okay.
He's like, what? He staged, and he told me, he's like, oh yeah, dude, I got a friend of a friend. She was really hot. and we went on a motorcycle trip on the Facebook, and I was totally doing this to get her attention. And he was just like dead honest about it. I go, you did that? He goes, yeah. I go, how
to take pictures, just to get it on social media? That was the only point?
And he was dead honest. He was like, yep. I said, so you lied? Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I said, how'd it work? No response, nothing. Now, here's the thing. I've said this before. I don't sign up for that. It can work for individuals that have big egos, that get jealous, right? But it doesn't have a long shelf life. Like, it's just going to be a moment. That being said, for individuals that are soft-hearted, sensitive, it will work against you, actually. So if you have someone that's, a little less outgoing, a little less confident about their looks, you might bury them down worse and be like, wow, you just really moved on, huh? And you're like, I thought they would react to that in a different way. Not every person will react to that scenario in the same way. Like I said, that's typecasted towards an individual that is confident, ego-based, right? So they're going to want to prove that wrong. Someone that's on the opposite end or neutral, that might push them away further. Like, wow, you're really with someone already. Okay. Number 4, you don't want to know what their friends are telling them. I've dealt with this a long time ago when Facebook first came out, because I had a bad breakup right when Facebook started, so it wasn't as big a deal. And I just remember some friends posting some things like, oh, you just need to find someone that's better, and you need to find someone, and like they're posting it like that's more fun or something. I was like, what? I immediately was like, done. I've known other people. Oh, the friend said this, the friend said that. Who cares? Right? That you can equate that to someone in the stands at a baseball game that, never played baseball before. All right. So just don't put yourself in that situation, because those things, they carry with you. Wow, I can't believe Kim said that about me. I know Kim is. I know what she's. And now you're just now you're in the wheel, and you just can't shake it. Like, how many times have you seen something about your ex on social media, what they said, and it just stays with you? It just lingers like a cloud over your head.
Can't let it go.
You're putting yourself in those situations. Number 5, you don't want to read any cryptic messages about you that may be misinterpreted. I've had this a lot. Oh, I know she was writing about me. How do you know? I know. If it's negative, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, why are you I know she's still hurting about me, and this is how and it's just an interpretation. It's an assumption. It's not factual. And guess what? If you called her or him, you'll never know. You think they're going to tell you, like, yeah, this is exactly why I wrote this. Post breakup, people start to hold their cards tighter, and they bluff. They talk to me and they're like, yeah, I told her this, or I told him this. Women especially, they'll tell me, I told him this, and they're calling me up like, I miss him so much. I want this. I told him this.
The complete opposite.
I told him I told him he's a piece of crap. He's this. Why'd you say that? If that's well, I'm not going to tell him that I miss him so much. So people are, once the breakup happens, people are playing a different game than when you were together, and it hurts sometimes. Number 6, social media is just not good for the human mind anyways, especially when you're down. Alcohol, drugs, those kinds of things. When you're down, when you stop drinking, it's going to be worse, right? So it's the same thing with social media. It's not a time for you to be on social media anyways. And take this as an opportunity for you to go, you know what, I'm just going to take a break. Number 7, if you were to contact them, it's not good in most cases, but it's a live response to what they're up to. When I say contact them, they actually reciprocated. They did not respond to the text or call, right? Now, when you're on social media, you don't get that. You'll just sit there and look at the picture, look at the text.
Constantly.
Be smiling right now, because isn't it different? Yeah. Where someone calls someone, it could hurt you. Mm-hmm. They could be rude. They could say, you know what? I never want to be with you again. They could say some really hurtful stuff. And that's why everyone says, don't do no contact. Don't, be done, whatever. But the reason I'm saying social media is worse, at least you got a response that's real, that's concrete, that you're like, this is where they stand right now. Sometimes people are like, I contacted them. They said this, they said that. I'm like, well, you already did it, and you know where they stand right now. So there's some clarity in that. Social media doesn't have that. It's false clarity where you're like, oh yeah, I know everything now. No, you don't. You just saw a picture. Even if someone's with someone new, you don't know how happy they are. They wouldn't want to divulge to you like, I really don't like this guy or this woman that much. They would never want to say that. Like, actually, they're a really bad kisser and they have bad breath and they're really down on their luck. Right? They would never want to say that.
Know that. No.
Right? And it might just be a rebound. They would never want to say that. They look at it like, yeah, we're doing great right now. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so those are your 7 things. Those are your reasons why. Now, the reason why I made this live stream today is, like I said, I had a past video. It's been fairly popular, 14,000 views or something like that. No contact, no social media. And I made this video and I was showing how the human mind just makes assumptions. But I'll take it a step further and I'll show the video really quick and show you how I went about it. And it was funny to read the comments. Now, when you read the comments, it'll give you some context to how people react differently to different things. Some people love this video and they were like, wow, and they commented on it and they were like, great video, great point. And other people were like, why didn't you get to the point faster? Many people are like, you took way too long to just get to the point, right? That makes my point even deeper in the sense that now you're showing me that you're one of those people. You're impatient. You're telling a lot about who you are. That's what I would assume, but I could be wrong, right? Playlist. How do relationships and marriages last without falling apart and people getting bored of each other? Well, that's an individual question for an individual relationship. You probably don't want to hear that from me. You're like, oh, okay. I would, instead of asking a broad question like that, ask me about your relationship and your marriage and then give me the details and then I can give you a detailed answer, right? If I was going to say how relationships, if I was going to give a generalization, like most people say, good communication, unconditional love. It's actually not true because it's different for different people. But one thing I always say, B's probably heard me say this before. What do you think it takes to be in a long-term relationship? Like when he said
Trust.
Trust, yeah.
Keeping the attraction up. I don't know. These are just generalities.
One person accepting that things aren't fair and the other person gets their way more.
Okay, yeah.
That's actually overlooked. Mm-hmm. You've heard me say that before.
Yeah.
I believe that a lot of times people, this isn't fair, or you're getting more than I'm getting. A lot of times, if you look at a couple that's been married for 45, 50 years, like my parents, someone gave in way more. Someone let the other person win more. Is that right? It's up to them. You make your own code of conduct in your own relationship. As far as people getting bored of each other, I think there's never been a time. What's up, Percy Blue? I think there's never been a time more than now where you're going to get bored. Right? Even 20 years ago, when I was a young whippersnapper, okay, you wouldn't get as bored. Your attention spans are lower. Hence the reason why people don't like this video I made, because it's 23 minutes. It's way too long, man. Just tell me this. Just tell me the point. The whole point of the video that I made was to try to show you how many assumptions you make. So my point is, you're going to get more bored because there's so much more stimulation, right? If you look at 1950s, 1960s, 1920s, I wasn't there then, but I had grandparents born there, different people, right? Different. You look back at your great-grandparents, if you had them, if you have privilege enough, they had the same car for 25 years, the same TV, same shag carpet. People always go, yeah, that's true, huh? Right? Why wouldn't they have the same partner? You look at life now, I got a new iPhone. What happened to your old one? It's old. What does it do different, the new iPhone?
I don't know.
Takes better pictures. This is just how society is. Everyone's trying to upgrade. Everyone's trying to remix. Now, if everyone's sharing their life on social media and going, look at my new girlfriend, look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that. Hey, if you want to get more women, you could do this. Your mind never stops. So if you really want to stay dialed in your relationship, you probably have to dial down the social media and change the content, change the people you're around. For example, one thing that would get you bored in a relationship, if you have a lot of single friends or just one or two single friends that are your close friends, and you start hanging out with them and you've been in a 10-year, good luck. You're gonna be like, man, this is a lot of fun. Well, you don't realize you just went out for a weekend. The 5 days during their week, they're going, man, I miss having my girlfriend around. It works both ways. Now, people often say, playlist, by the way, great question. People often say this. They go, oh, you gotta keep dating your wife, or you gotta keep dating your husband. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know exactly what that means, because you could try. People have been in long-term relationship, myself included, and you go, all right, we're gonna go on a date this week. And then you go out and both of you just have nothing to talk about. You know what I'm talking about, B? Have you been in a long, and you're like,
kind of just sitting there, okay.
You know, and you see it in other couples, and everyone goes, oh, the couples don't even talk anymore. Sometimes when you've been together a long time, there's not. I saw a couple recently. They both looked like they were 65 to 70 plus. They were older. We were in an Italian restaurant, and they were directly across my view.
You could see.
They sat there for 25 minutes and didn't say a word to each other. I didn't time it, but not a word. And they had champagne on deck. Champagne or like white wine, and I don't know if they had gotten in a fight or what.
But they were just chilling there, not
stoic.
Saying.
So I think it's going to be harder in the future, and people have to have reasons. Your trade-offs have to be better. It's not about playlists. It's not about finding out ways to not be bored. It's finding out ways to accept when you're bored and being okay with it. Because I think there's going to be You like that one, huh? Wow, thanks, B. Stay tuned. I've been doing this for a little while. So I've been saying, like, sometimes you're going to go, wow, my girlfriend really doesn't look attractive right now, but I still love her, right? Or vice versa. Or really, I'm really bored with them. That's commitment. That's going to happen. It's just like when you have a good job. Sometimes you're like, I hate this job. I don't want to wake up this morning. That's what it is. That's what commitment is. It means that for the moment, I'm okay. I'm a little bit bored. I'm tired of talking about these things. In an ideal world, you filter really well when you date. For someone that when you're out with your friend and you start dating this woman or man, whatever, your partner, and they ask about it and you go, it's great. It's outstanding. Checks all the boxes. If you start dating someone, you're like, you know what? This is what really bothers me. And it's not going away, but you're settling because intimacy is outstanding, because she's beautiful, because he's rich. It's okay. Those are the people you're going to get bored with faster. Right? Does that help you, playlist? Playlist, where are you out in the world? And have I done a coaching session with you before? I've heard you come on before. You got a little bit of a sarcastic tinge before, I remember. My ex says she still has pictures of us on her wall. That's crazy. Well, I guess you're a handsome young man. I don't know.
What's up, Justin?
Guess she still has feelings for you.
Yeah.
I still have pictures of us on the wall. Did you see the wall? I don't know. Right? All right, let me pull up this old video. Bear with me here. You're going to go, wow, this is when I was 37 years old, about 4 years ago, 4+ years ago. Let's see how long I could keep people's attention, because the people that watch this video are always like, wow, man, why don't you get to the point? Why don't you just get to the point? Well, I can tell why your ex left you. All right. So you guys are going to like this one. All right. Let's see here. Why don't you just get to the point? Wow, man. Like I said, when people do that, I'm like, oh, what was the reason why your ex left you in the chat? Like when in the comments, could it be you were impatient? Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today, I'm not going to talk about a breakup story. I'm going to talk about the stories you're telling yourself after a breakup based on social media, based on photos, based on hearsay. And what I'm getting at is you don't have the facts, you just don't know, but you got a story to go with it. So, why am I wearing my San Francisco Giants 1980s baseball cap today? I want to ask you, what do you think of my baseball cap? Now, why am I asking this? Because as soon as you see me on camera right now, you are scanning the video if you're not just listening, which sometimes people do on YouTube. But you're looking at my baseball cap. You're going, Giants, do I like them? Do I not like them? Why is it such an old cap? You're asking yourself questions. You're answering questions. You might not even care. My shirt, this blue shirt I'm wearing, what do you think about it? What story could you put to this blue shirt that I'm wearing? Now you're thinking, what's this have to do with breakups? I'm getting there. Just think about it. What about this hat? What about this hat if I turn it backwards now and wear it like this? What does that change? Does that change a perception of who I am and how I act and what you think of me? If this is the first video you've seen of me and I had my hat this way, would it make a difference if I had it flipped the front way? Would you think tow truck driver? Would you think younger? Hope so, right? All these things go through your mind because your perception is what you want it to be. And your perception and your belief of what you think someone is wearing a hat for or why they look the way they do is based on your past experiences and what you've seen already. Okay, so you'll have a story. Wait a minute. If you watch this right now and you saw the Giants hat in the beginning, you go, oh, Mac's a Giants fan. True. I am a Giants fan, grew up a Giants fan, grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area. But a little deeper part of this hat, it was my grandfather's hat he passed away a couple years ago. It's from the 80s. So it's not high quality, but it's got a little nostalgia to me. And it was a hat my grandpa always wore to every Giants game, including the first Giants game I went to. So it's not just a cap to me. It's a little piece of family history. Now, if I hadn't told you that, maybe you just think likes the Giants. Maybe you just think I don't like black and orange colors on a hat. All kinds of shit goes through your mind as an individual based on me just wearing that hat. Now, this shirt. Basic blue shirt. It's a little tarnished over here. Got some holes. Almost looks like bite marks, really, right? Why am I wearing this shirt? Because I thought it was pretty interesting. I've had this shirt since I was 16 years old. It was one of my first work shirts. I used to work at a men's department store, and it still fits amazingly, right? So I must be in okay shape for it to still fit. 16 years. So that shirt is 20. Okay. Right. What do you think of that? Now, first thought could be dinosaur. First thought could be the name of the dinosaur. If you have some kind of background on dinosaurs and the actual species of dinosaur. Someone might think it's a rhino. Why the hell are you showing that in a video for breakups advice? I'm getting somewhere with this, but my question is, what do you see first, right? What do you see first? And I'll come back to this particular item and tell you the real story behind it for me. This item right here, which is in the background of some of my videos, okay? What do you think of that? What's the story you would think of that if you had to put a story to it? Why does Mac have this item, okay? I'm getting somewhere with this, so just keep registering what you think about the items. What about this? What about that item right there? Look familiar? Next one. What do you think about this item here? Okay. Now, you might be thinking Rubik's Cube, right? But what's the story of that Rubik's Cube? Why do I have it? I'm going somewhere with this, folks. So stay with me. What about this picture right here? What do you think of that picture? Okay. Any thoughts on that? This picture right here. What's your thoughts on that? Right there. What's the significance to me on that picture? I haven't showed this one yet. I don't know if there'll be a glare. What about that picture? So there's no glare there. Again? Look familiar? Okay. And one final picture. Why am I showing you pictures? Because right now in 2018, in the 21st century, pictures, not printed pictures like these, are a big, big deal, right? We spend a lot of time on the internet looking at pictures. We look at pictures and we put stories to them. And the stories we put to them, a lot of times are not true, right? One more item. What about this one? What do you think of that thing? What is that to you? Okay. Now I'm going to come back to all these items. I'm going to tell you the story I have about them and what they mean to me, so you know exactly where I'm going with this. And so I told you about the hat. It's a San Francisco Giants hat from the 1980s. My grandfather passed away 2 years ago, and my mom was going through the room. I said, "Hey, if Papa," I called him Papa, "if that San Francisco Giants hat with the meshes there, I would really like to have that. If not, it's okay."
My mom kept it for me. This hat's over, from the 80s, probably 30 years old, holds a whole different significance to me based on the fact that my grandfather wore it to all the Giants games we went to together. And it's from the 80s, man. They're not even made anymore, right? So this shirt, one of the first shirts I had at my first job in a men's clothing department at 16 years old, and it still fits. So it's not just a blue shirt to me. I think, God damn, I can still fit in that, and it still works. I mean, it's got some tarnishes here and stuff like that, but it's not just a blue shirt to me. You looking at it, you looked at that shirt when I was wearing it, or the way I have my hat right now, and you have a story of why I'm doing that. Whether that's true or not, it's probably not true. It's just fitting a narrative or a thought processes that you have of why I'm doing something or showing something. So let's go back through these. This particular item, no significance to me. I found it walking on the beach, actually, in Thailand. I don't know if a kid left it there. I don't know if someone left it on a rock for a reason. And I grabbed it. I brought it home, and I just thought it was something unique, I guess. And I don't know exactly why I grabbed it, to save it from the beach or for what reason. But this particular item, when I showed it to a friend of mine's daughter who's about
Okay, so B's already losing his attention. He's like, "What the hell is this, man? What the hell's going on here?" His face is like,
No, I never
"You never saw that
no.
video?" So I went through all the things and told you what they mean to me.
Mhm.
So the funny thing is, I went through that whole video. I won't go back through it because Percy Blues on. He's like, "I definitely watched that video." And it's funny. Some people totally got what I meant because you look at the Giant. Oh, you're a Giants fan. No, actually, it's my grandfather's hat. The dinosaur. Oh, that must be from when you were a little kid. No, not really. I just found it. Right? Those pictures were family members. Now, one of the pictures someone said, "Oh, that looks like Rita Hayworth or something." It was my grandma's picture from the 1920s or something like that. I don't know. And the reason I chose pictures, because you could still look at those pictures and go, "That's your grandpa? He doesn't look like you," or "Where's he from?" There's so many stories that you could just make up from all those things that I showed you.
Just from those visuals. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right. So there was a big point, and I kept saying, like, here's my point, here's my point. Now, I get it. People have low attention spans, and that's why I sped up the video, and I'm talking faster now. So, right? Like, Percy Blue goes, "Oh, that's your dad's old baseball cap?" No, it was my grandpa's. Okay, and I got it after he died. All right, so, right? This is what you do on social media. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. You just make up some story about something. Oh, I know what that means. No, you don't.
You fill in the blanks. Yeah.
So I did a 23-minute video, and some people that watch that video are like, right? So let me tell you about the comments on this video, right? Hold on a sec. It's pretty funny when you look at the comments. Let's see if I can. And people are like pissed, like you just kept going on, right? Mm-hmm. So see, here's some of the comments. Which I could add to the stream. Yeah, we could do that. It's kind of hard to see though, huh? This is a really good advice. Great way to kill the anxiety. It takes away your mind from roaming and flips the script on your ex. It makes them wonder about you instead of you trying to guess good statuses to make them reach out to you. Very good advice. Someone else wrote, "Love this." Someone else wrote, "Thanks for the video. I'm going to take a break from social media for now and work on healing up for post-breakup." Someone else wrote, "For the dinosaur, I thought you kept that from your childhood. Maybe you had a sentimental attachment to it. The picture of your father, I thought perhaps maybe your grandfather since you had mentioned the cap. The Rubik's Cube, I thought maybe you purchased it when in college as a stress reliever." So she just came up with she actually did the exercise and said, I was wrong. She was wrong about all of them. She just made the assumptions. "Thank you. I had an awful breakup. I'm shutting down social media and Facebook. This video is helping me heal. Love the Giants and vintage hat. The story behind it is magnificent." Okay. Moral of the story is don't let the mind fool you on what you see. Okay. Now someone else wrote, "Social media pics are not the same. It's not just pictures with mysterious meanings. It can be something he shared. If you know that person so well, your ex, then you know that photo shared of a stranger girl means maybe a girl. It maybe means you don't know," which was my point. "Maybe a girl in some position, just an example, but you just don't know. It's easy to know why he's sharing that kind of stuff." Totally didn't get my point. Seriously, I tapped out at the 3-minute mark when you were still talking about your hat. Get to the point. Right? Good video, but we don't need a whole bunch of examples. Get straight to the point. My ex broke up with me and blocked me and then unblocked me the same day. He has been looking at my Facebook story, so I now keep everything private. Is this a good idea, though? He's been looking. Another one. Hey, I need help. It's been a month after the breakup. I normally post quite a lot, but I haven't posted anything in a month. If I want to start posting again, what should I post and and should I? So this is coming from a different direction. Should I post, drop my phone in the ocean? Ha, I've been using my computer since. Just random things. Thanks. Same story. I posted lots of happy stuff. She watches my stories. Going to be silent for now. Now for you. I'm just, these are the reactions. Damn, I thought I was the only one that was like, can he get to the point already? And then I saw the similar comments. Actually, good video. People complaining are the ones with no patience, can see why their exes broke up with them. Right? All right, next one. But she can just go on YouTube channel to see what I'm up to. What you got for that? She unfollowed me on the gram. I don't even know. I can't even read this because of the grammar. Okay, so this is a recent one that sparked me to make this video today. My brain was just like, get to the point already. Not what you're holding on to, not what you're holding or your hat being backwards. So my reply, some really liked the video, some hated it. I hope you're able to stick with no contact. And if you got a breakup story, feel free to send it to writemac.com. And remember, patience is a virtue. Stay strong, Robin. Right? That was my response to her. This is recent, right? So what if your ex calls to check up on you? What do you do then? Totally different question than the scenario, right? Mm-hmm. Get to the point, dude. So someone else did this. Jurassic Park, holiday memento, family photo. So they just gave their assumptions. Sure. Right? I deleted all my social media accounts. This is a good way to make him grow curious about me and raise chances to get back with me. ? Okay, possibly. Do you really need to go through 10,000 examples? So we have a massive exaggerator here because I had about 10 examples instead of 10,000. Okay. Get to the point, man. Gosh, who wants to know? Oh my God, already, who cares about your memories? Get to the point. Kept fast forwarding. Just go to the end, people. The rambling is insane. So this was the same lady, or I'm saying Robin could be a man, actually. Right? So this is what I wrote back after the second comment.
Oh, okay.
You're going to like this one. Your comments say a lot about your character. Perhaps this is one of the reasons your ex had issues with you. But maybe I'm wrong. Check the comments. Some people cared. You sound like a person that's been accused of being selfish and self-absorbed, but I could be wrong. You know why I wrote that? He's like, whoa.
That's what you're talking about.
Am I assuming something?
You're assuming, yeah.
Remember, your thoughts and feelings are yours. The rest of the world doesn't line up with you, and it's a big world out there. Jesus Christ, I can't stand it. Get to the point. P.S. Your Nana looks like Rita Hayworth, beautiful woman. This is not an effective video at all. Way too many examples. This is a fail, bro. Jesus Christ. Times anything else have? No one interested in your hat. People have issues. Get to the point. You know what? So here's my point. How many we have left on deck? We have 6 on deck. This is my point about this whole thing. Okay? So if I rambled on and you're like, wow, Mac. My whole point was it's interesting people tend to comment about shit they don't like instead of just, if you didn't like it, abort. But I do think that some of these people that had issues in their relationships, probably the way they acted in the comments kind of says could have been patience, self-absorbed. There was a point being made. Some people liked it. Some people didn't like it. Some people totally got what I meant. Some people didn't. And my point to that lady was, maybe you're self-absorbed and selfish, but maybe I'm wrong. Because I'm not going to make an assumption. I just did, but I also gave you an out. Like, oh, maybe I'm wrong. So that was my whole point. The whole point of social media, you're always assuming, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, one of the biggest ones that people get netted on, they liked my post. Give me a break. I've had so many people lose sleep
over a liked post.
Oh,
yeah. They've
been liking all my posts. Wow.
Because
what are you going to make of that? I think they like you again and they want to sleep with you again. They want to get back with you. Really? Now, someone watching the video will be like, you could have just said that. Not really. I have to reiterate to you how many times you're making assumptions. Now, if you're not even really up for figuring out why you make so many assumptions, then you're probably a lost cause anyways. But that's just an assumption on my part. You could just go on and on with this. And social media, if you get wrapped up in it post-breakup because you're in no contact, but you're like, I could still watch them. Assumption. Maybe this, I think this, they are doing this. And then people, like I said, if you look in the comments, the people, you know what's interesting about the people that didn't like the video? They act like they're speaking for the world. God, just get to the point. We all don't want to hear this. Nobody cares about your hat. Some people like the hat.
Some people commented on the hat.
Right. This is my point. Whenever you come across people that feel like they're speaking for all men, all women, all people, go, thanks. I appreciate it, but you don't need to speak for me. Right? It's pretty ignorant. It's pretty ignorant, right? People do it a lot. They do it a lot. And that's my whole point of that video. And the ironic thing is there was like 163 likes, so like I said. But people comment on things that are polarizing that they don't like. Nobody wants to hear about any of this. Well, there's been 14,000 views and 163 likes. I guess you didn't see that. Or you could say, maybe the same amount of people didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know why, but in YouTube, they don't show not likes.
No, you can see on the back end. But
really?
Yeah, but you can't.
Huh. They used to.
You used to be able, yeah. I think it just dings off your likes. You know what I mean? Like
they cancel them out?
Yeah, I think so.
Huh. I think it means I don't know.
I don't know.
Now,
I could be wrong.
Now you're just making assumptions.
I didn't learn.
How many assumptions do you think you actually make in a day? It's kind of crazy amount.
Yeah.
Just a minute, just have an exercise and have a little notepad or use your phone. And every time you go, I think.
Write it down.
Right. Maybe it's, doesn't mean the assumption's bad. Doesn't mean the assumption's not good. It just means like, wow, I do make a lot of assumptions. And some people go in different directions with their assumptions too. They go ultra positive where the person that's negative is like, oh God. Or they go ultra negative where the positive person's like, I just can't listen to this anymore. Right? It goes both ways. Does anyone else have a take on playlists? Great question. How do relationships and marriages last without falling apart and people getting bored of each other? Bored. I've met people before. Mm-hmm. This is ironic. I know some business people that are really dedicated to their business. They're kind of workaholics. And I've heard them literally use the word, I'm never bored, with a smile. And they don't have good relationships. It's interesting, huh? Mm-hmm. Now, that's a sample size. I'm not saying everyone's like that. But it's kind of interesting. I know a couple people that have said that to me. I'm never bored because they're always consumed by their job, their work, with their, outside things. But I don't know if you're capable of being in a long-term relationship where you don't have some moments where you're possibly just as bored as if you would be single. But when you're bored and you have a partner, you're like, it's their fault. They're so boring.
Why aren't they not keeping me entertained?
I used to go out a lot. It's like, right? Mm-hmm. So I think you have to accept the fact that even when you're single, even when you were at your best, maybe in your 20s or in college or whenever it was for you, and you were having the most fun in your life, you still had some bored moments. Right? I think what could translate to getting bored with a partner is that you guys are just in different directions, or you guys have had so many bad moments that you've started to typecast each other where you don't even want to try to interact. And that can happen. If you have enough wreckage on the road, there's enough arguments or fights that don't go solved, that's what happens. That's what happens. Anyone have some closing questions? Give that a minute.
I just want to say I liked that video. You know,
I didn't think you liked it. I could tell by your reaction. You're
I
like,
personally enjoyed that.
in what way?
I thought it was insightful. You know, made you think a little bit outside the box. Like, okay, I do make assumptions. Yeah, you do.
It's like how many people wear a team's hat that they're not a fan of?
Mhm.
I mean, I've seen people, living abroad where they have a Niners hat on. I'm like, Niners. Yeah. One time I
They're
did.
like, what?
Yeah, I was at this bar and restaurant. And this guy walks in, he has a Niners hat. I'm like, fuck yeah, man, Niners. I had a few beers in me and
Right,
stuff.
you're
And he was like, he's looking at me and I'm like, what? And like, evidently he just liked the hat. And he was from Sweden.
Okay. Bro, I don't even know what you're talking about.
He looked at me like,
Yeah.
what?
Right.
Right. And he had a bald head, so he just wore hats.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, he lived in the area after that when I said that.
Mm-hmm.
And he wasn't friendly after that. It was weird because in my head, I'm like, oh, connection instantly. Niners fan?
Yeah.
Nah, I just like that. Like he just looked at me like I was aggressive and obnoxious. And here I'm like trying to give him a 5, talk about Montana and Rice and,
Mm-hmm.
all the greatness of the Niners. It's like, nah, I got a hat, man.
I like red and gold.
Have you ever have you ever assumed something like that before?
I'm sure, but I just can't think of something. But something like that, yeah.
It's like, I think when I was younger too, someone had, back in the day, this is for the people that are a little older on the channel, starter parkas. Do you remember those? That was before your time. Starter was like big in the late 80s.
Starter, the company.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like if you had a starter jacket
mhm.
or a starter parka.
Mm-hmm. Is it like the button up? Wasn't it
The
like
parka was like a parka, but it was sports teams and they were big
Mhm.
when I was like in 4th and 5th grade.
Mhm.
And so like my sister was 5 years older, so her friends would have them. And I remember this one guy had a Seahawks.
Was it kind of have like the bigger arms, like a little bit puffier?
A little bit. I mean,
I'll
I'll have to pull one up.
I think I know. So.
But I remember this guy was like, why does he have a Seahawks? And he was like, I just like the colors.
Mhm.
And I was like, who buys a sports jacket when I was like 9
And they're
for the
expensive.
colors?
They're expensive too, right?
In the day they were like $120,
Yeah.
which now would be like $240 or
Mhm.
$250.
Mhm.
It was a big deal to have your starter parka. But my point was like, I just was like, why would he wear a team that he didn't like? And he was like, the colors. I was like, huh?
Yeah, I have done that with the one hat I can think of. It was a Tampa Bay Rays hat. It was a sick hat, and I just liked the way it looked. And I was like, I'm gonna buy it. I don't care.
I would say that, yeah, that applies more than you think.
Mhm.
A lot of times people are, you're just assuming that people are wearing things that they sign up for, but they could have just got it as a gift. I've had people go, oh, that's just got it from someone else, right? All right, folks, it's been good. It's been grand. Take care. Keep being you. It's curtains, and don't make assumptions.
Mhm.
If you do make assumptions, catch yourself and ask a few questions. Go, I was just thinking, are you really a Giants fan? Are you really wearing that because of this? Rob comes in at the end just to say hello.
What's up, Rob?
Yeah, we're just closing it out. All right, folks, take care.
See you
It's
tomorrow.
curtains.
See you.